Hello everybody, this is Dennis again with my psych collection, and it's part 2 of the bees. And what are we going to start off with here? How about a group that I normally hate, but their first album is so brilliant. Al Kooper's Blood, Sweat and Tears. Is it psych? Kind of. It's brilliant, I tell you. The rest of the Blood, Sweat, Tears is okay, but this one with Al Kooper, holy moly, does that Cooper know how to jam? Not all of his albums are great, but that one is. I give it 5 stars. The Child is Father to the Man. Blood, Sweat and Tears' very first album, including the goofy cover showing all the band members holding a miniature version of themselves, because the child is father to the man. Next we got the Blues Image. The Blues Image. More early 70s hard rock. Honestly, I don't know much about these guys, but I know they're very collectible. Blues Image, they're from Florida, featuring Mike Panera from Iron Butterfly and The Image. They had a hit with Ride Captain Ride. I don't think that's on here. No. They had several albums. All pretty decent. Okay. Okay, enough of that. Next we got Vincebus Eruptus, of course. Blue Cheer, the great San Francisco psych band. And this one was their very first album, and it exists in at least 2 different varieties of the cover. Let's see if I can find the other one here. I can't. Okay. Anyway, this is one of them has got some like a 3D effect to it, embossing. The other one doesn't. But they're both great albums. Hard jamming, sort of like Grand Funk, because they're just kind of, I don't know, biker kind of stuff, kind of methamphetamine nonsense. But they're good. They're really good. Blue Cheer. Now the beauty with Blue Cheer is they had a lot of albums. And they're all psychedelic. The later ones are more like West Coast, California, psyche stuff. Here's their second album, and this one's so weird they didn't even put the name of the band on the cover. It's just total weirdness here. So you open this up and you get Blue Cheer. I don't know what they're doing here. It doesn't quite look legal. Again, it's hard rock. It's got a lot of stuff here, outside, inside. And of course, the inside is outside, and the outside is inside. Ooh-coo-coo-choo. But it's good. It's really good Blue Cheer music. So again, it's that biker psych. Now, the third Blue Cheer album has some interesting aspects. Have you ever heard of the band Cack? Cack is one of the great psychs of all time. And the interesting thing about New Improved Blue Cheer is that one side is, and you can see this is a San Francisco look here. It's got the San Francisco lettering, the whole bit. One side of this is made up of members who were in Blue Cheer. Randy Holden wrote all those. Peace of Mind, Fruit, and Icebergs, and Honey Butter Lover. And the other side is your typical Blue Cheer. So here you get an extra bonus here for the Blue Cheer album. One side is hard, grungy psych. The other side is like Cack, which is one of the greatest psychs of all times, I think. Then we get into the fourth Blue Cheer. Again, great stuff. Getting into more hard rock here because we're getting later in the game. but they're blue cheer, so they're not going to disappoint you. Next we have, what do we have? The fifth? The fifth Blue Cheer album. Now we're getting more grungy, more hard rock kind of stuff. Still really good. You gotta hand it to Blue Cheer. Their first album sold a lot. The rest of them didn't sell so great, but they plugged at it. They never gave up. Good San Francisco band, Blue Cheer. And then lastly, but not leastly, I don't know if they had any albums after this. This is a lot of albums. Is this their sixth album? Blue Cheer again. Psyche cover. Nice kind of like a patchwork quilt. Psychedelicized. The back side you got like, I guess that's a close-up of a pillow or something. Couch, I don't know what it is. But great stuff. They're all on Philips. The Dutch label. American releases. Blue Cheer. Next we have Blue Mountain Eagle. Blue Mountain Eagle is another psych. Do we got it listed in here? No, we don't. But it's great stuff. I can always check my notes here. 4 stars, country psych. Ooh, country psych. So we're getting in the, this is 68, so it's early. This is before Nashville Skyline by Dylan. You missed the boat, Bob. So country rock, good psych. A lot of stuff going on here. Great compositions. Lovely stuff. Now we're getting into a New York blues band. And this one had Al Cooper, Danny Cobb, Steve Katz. A lot of good people here. Andy Kohlberg. The Blues Project. So again, it's a blues rock album. But it's that era. 67, 68. There's some psych on here. Psych attitude, because that's what the era was. You couldn't escape it. There's no escape. You also have the Blues Project live at Town Hall. And as you can imagine, it's a lot of blues covers. I Can't Keep From Crying, No Time Like the Right Time, some originals. A band completely forgotten today. It's interesting stuff at the time. And the thing about 60s music is anything was allowed within reason. Here's the greatest hits. Woohoo! Nice psychedelic cover. Band members. I don't think they had any hits. Wake Me, Shake Me. That's the cover, of course. Going Down Louisiana. Mean Old Southern. So these are cuts off the other albums. Kind of redundant, but interesting. Now, this is a band, the next band, is it psych? More like hard rock, because it's like, we're getting into the early 70s now, but it's killer stuff. And their themes and their attitudes made them very psyche, and that would be Blue Oyster Cult. And it's got that weird art on the cover. It's kind of dystopia, future disaster. Wish they weren't too far off. Blue Oyster Cult. And the first album is great. It is absolutely great. It's got Cities on Flame with rock and roll. A lot of good stuff on here. I'm on the lamb, but I ain't no sheep. They had a thing about lambs. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Well, Blue Oyster Cult. How can you top that stuff? That weird Blue Oyster Cult stuff. Well, their second album actually topped it. Tyranny and Mutation. Oh my God, so weird. And this has got the red and the black. It's got OD'd on life itself, Hot Rails to Hell, and 7 Screaming Bizbusters. There's 2 sides of this album, the red side and the black side. Nice little gatefold. Nice little inner sleeve here. BOC. And of course, you have a red side and a black side for this album. The red side's better, but they're both good. It's not a perfect album. There are very few that are, but it's very good. I give it a good solid 3 stars. Now, as time goes on, of course, Blue Oyster Cult is going to assume less weirdness. They're going to become a little bit more progressive, a little more hard rock. That's what they did. And because of that, it kind of changed the whole attitude of who they were and what they did. There's a couple more Blue Oyster albums I'd like to dig out here. I can't seem to find them right now. Oh, here they are. I missed them. Okay. Here's that alternate blue cheer cover I told you about. And two more Blue Oyster albums I want to tell you briefly about. I'm sure you've heard about Blue Oyster Cult. I'd say their first 5 albums are really good. The later ones are decent. None of the Blue Oyster albums are bad. Even the live albums are good. But some of them are very controversial. Here's one, Secret Treaties. Oh, what's controversial about this? Well, they're featuring some World War II German Nazi jet planes and some dead dogs here. It's just kind of creepy stuff. And why would you want to play with fascism? So I got to mark this off a couple points for that. Poor little dead German shepherd. How could you do? Okay. But then you get into this one, which is a great album. Don't Fear the Reaper. And that alone is very psychedelic. Here's Blue Oyster Cult. They're gambling with the world here. What's going to happen? I don't know. This one's a really interesting album. It's got Patti Smith on it. I'd say it's one of their greatest albums. From this point on, they're a little bit less than they were. But they're all good. Okay, my dog came to visit me. I'm going to back up a little bit because there's a couple of them I missed here. Here's one of them. It's called Blue Mink, which actually comes before Blue Oyster Cult, but hey, well, who's counting? And this is a very interesting psych because it's different from what you'd expect. It's progressive, it's got organ, it's got 2 great guitarists, count them 2, and it's got a female vocalist. There's sax and flute on here, so it's very progressive. Cool cover. Nice female vocalist. Next we have Bloomsbury People. Now, Bloomsbury People is, of course, a psych. What else could it be? MGM. Nice, light, solid psych. Quirky psych. Good hard psych. Cranking guitar. So this is, I give it 3 stars. It's got an insert. Nice little psyche psych. Can't go wrong with Bloomsbury People. And then the next one is one which used to have a good reputation. Maybe not so much anymore. It's pretty rare. It's the Blue Things. Now the first album by the Blue Things is more like folk rock. It wasn't really psych. It had some psyche moves to it, but it's more folk rock. There were some reissues they made later on of Blue Things, and volume 3 of that, if you can find it, has got some great psych, like the Orange Rooftop of My Minds, Up in My Tree, just weird stuff. But this is absolutely great folk rock, right up there with the Byrds. The Blue Things. Next we have, which is undoubtedly psychedelic, and that would be the Blues Magoos. Psychedelic Lollipop. This was an early one, I think 66 maybe, and it's just really good psych. The Blues Magoos. Their last album was country rock, but up to that point, they'd had 3 excellent psych albums. And they're not that hard to get, but I guarantee you will not be disappointed with Blues Magoos. Here's the second Blues Magoos electric comic book. And as you would imagine, there is indeed a comic book in here. It's the Blues Magoos comic book. Oh boy. And it's just a couple pages, but the Blues Magoos do their crazy stuff. And if you want some more, you can get some merchandise here. I don't think you can anymore. Oh, Psych Delight. Ooh, Psych Delight Light. Who doesn't want that? The second album by the Blues Magoos. Now, two's not enough for these guys. We gotta keep going here. How about Basic Blues Magoos, their third album? Also, excellent, excellent psych. Wonderful stuff. Can't go wrong with Blues Magoos. Next, we got a group I don't know much about, but I have two of their albums, and it's called Buffalongo. And my notes indicate that side one is the best. This is early 70s hard rock. Buffalongo. So much fun to say. Buffalongo. Good hard rock. If you find it, get it. And they had a second album. It's called Beyond Our Head by Buffalongo. Whoops. Buffalongo. Okay, it's one of these flippers here. Beyond Our Head. The flippers. And it's got a nice little gatefold here. Let's see what we said about this one. It said it's good hard rock. Buffalongo. Here's one of those crazy Adco albums. You know, there's a lot of them. Bo Grumpus, Before the War. Another good psych. Bo Grumpus. Where were they from? What's their story? I don't know. Don't have any information on them. They look a lot like a Boston psych. Could well be. But it's a good psych. Get it, man. Get it. It's got fuzz guitar. It's got all the things you want. Everything in there. This next one, this is among the top 25, I think. It's another mainstream. It's Bohemian Vendetta. And this is an original on mainstream. This is great garage psych. It's got everything on here. Riddles and Fairy Tales. It's nice poppy psych. Paradox City. It's great stuff. There's some covers on here, but oh boy. The Bohemian Vendetta. Of course, Bohemian would be like people from Hungary. And Vendetta would be like revenge. They were like, I guess it's a reference to the fact that there was a lot of inter-family and outside the family struggles and battles that went on with the Hungarians. Whatever. Next one on the list. Next one would be Bold. And this one is kind of I believe a country psych? Nice psych. Country rock, yes. It's like Gypsy, it says. Very dreamy. I love that dreamy psych. Gypsy's a fabulous psych. They had 3 albums. I got 2 of them. Bow. If you see it, especially if you see it for $1, get it. Next we got, which definitely looks like a Boston psych, and it's a flick disc. Oh no, it's a flick disc. And that's the Boston Tea Party. But this one's actually pretty good. Now flick disc is, you know, very goofy flick disc. It's got a cool cover. I mean, it's got a cool label too. Flick disc. What the heck is this stuff? Actually, it's pretty good. 4 stars for a flick disc. Are you kidding me, man? No, 4 stars. Psych, of course. What else could it be? Decent vocals, great guitar, farcical organ, amazing, refreshing, sometimes brilliant. Who would have thought? I mean, you think like this is way over the top. I'm not getting this. You better get it. It's good stuff. It's psyche. The Boston Tea Party. Just the cover. I mean, if it was portable music, you'd still keep it just for that cover. Okay. Next is the Alan Bowen. The Alan Bowen. Oh man, where did you get all this stuff? I've been collecting records about 40 years. Seriously, for about 20 years. I kind of gave them up about 2000. CDs came out, you know. This is a Sgt. Pepper Pop, but it's got some good stuff on here. Next one is very rare. It's like the Jefferson Airplane. It's the Bow Street Runners. A very rare album. Now, this is actually a reissue because, you know, it's got a barcode. But they don't do that anymore. It's on Sundays Records, which is a great reissue label. I wish I had an original, but it's too much money now. A great San Francisco style psychedelic rock. A lot like Jefferson Airplane. Next we have one of my favorite records, another one of the top 25, the British North American Act. This is an original. Very rare record. It's on Now Records. Get them now while you can. This one is such a charming record. This is one of those pop psychs, and it's really good stuff. It's got a lot of great stuff on here. Baby Jane, Nights and Days, Joe Cool, I'll Find a Way, Don't Run Away. So it's kind of poppy, but the fuzz guitar is there, man. It's got the attitude. It's got everything you want in a psych. Very rare, but you can get a reissue, and you should because it's really good. Then we have Brother Fox and the Tar Babies, and there's two versions of this on different labels. I got the one on Oracle Records. I have no idea which one's rare or better or whatever. Just was happy to get a Brother Fox. And it's, again, what do you think it is? It's psych, of course. Average heavy psych rock. It's around 1969. It's like Led Zeppelin, only not as good, obviously. If it was, you'd hear a lot about Brother Fox and the Tar Babies. Next is a band which was a spin-off of Paul Revere and the Raiders, Brotherhood, which is nice pop psych. It's really good stuff. Brotherhood. And these guys, I give it 3.5 stars. It's got some hard rock, it's got some sitar on here, it's got some psych. Brotherhood. You'll see it. It's pretty common. And it's well worth it. This is an album that's just got really good stuff on it. Well-written songs. And they had a second album, too. Almost as good. 3 stars. Good pop psych. Second LP. Something else was in here. Brotherhood. Next, The Crazy Word of Arthur Brown. Including Fire, I'll Teach You to Burn. Arthur Brown, the crazy guy. This is it psych? Kind of psyche. Insane, fun psych hard rock with a strange obsession with fire. Check out Spontaneous Apple Created Fire. Ooh. Fire. Good psych. You used to see it everywhere. I believe he's got some other albums too, which I don't have. That's okay. You don't have everything. Here's an interesting one. This is a Bobby Brown album. And again, it's kind of a rural folky psych. The Enlightened Beam of Xanda by Bobby Brown. The Enlightened Beam of Xanda. There's Bobby with his little doggy. Yeah. What is this anyway? 3-star weird psych. Very mystical. Bobby Brown. You could imagine that would be mystical with a cover like that. And I know I say this a lot, but I'm going to have to say it again. This is another one of my top 25s, which is approaching 50. And that is, of course, Bubble Puppy, A Gathering of Promises. This is original. You can tell from the label. Hot Smoke and Sassafras. But if all you heard is Hot Smoke and Sassafras, holy cow. This album is so great. For one thing, it's an international artist album, the home of 13th Floor Elevators. So you know it's going to be some hard Texas psych going on here. I'd say 80% of the international artists that way. Some of them are not so good. Most of them are excellent. Bubba Puppy is excellent. I give it 5 stars. It's melodic. It's hard rock. It's got a lot of fuzz guitar. It's just cranking, kill 'em dead. Now here's another one. And this is kind of interesting because this is the second album by Bubble Puppy, but it wasn't called Bubble Puppy at that point. It was called Damien. And Damien, there you go. Damien is Bubble Puppy. They tried it under a new name. You know, we're getting into the 70s now. The psychedelic is dying. Bubble Puppies, that's too psychedelic a name. You got to come up with something else. This is also an excellent album. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Damien. Now we get into another band which I love. I'm not going to say it's my top 25, but they're excellent. Stephen Stills, Neil Young, Richard Furry. There was at least a dozen bands that came out of Buffalo Springfield, including stuff like Poco, Just wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Buffalo Spring first album. It's got psych. It's got some folk rock. It's got everything you could ask for. And if you want some more, how about some Buffalo Springfield again? Yeah, okay, I could do some more of that stuff. Excellent, excellent album. You can't go wrong with any Buffalo Springfield album. Here's the third one. Again, really good stuff. Buffalo Springfield. Now, there's another Buffalo Springfield album you need to consider. And this is this one. This is like a best of album, but it's more than that because it's got a 7-minute version of one of their songs, Bluebird. 7-minute version. Now, if you ever wondered what would it be like if Buffalo Springfield stretched out a little bit and jammed a little, you get a little taste of that. It's actually pretty lightweight, unfortunately, even with Stephen Stills and Neil Young jamming away on this thing. But it's great. It's great. And this is worth getting just to get that long version of Bluebird. Next we have Bugsy, a great psychedelic cover, right? Bugsy. What is it? It's a spin-off of another band. These guys were in the Paul Butterfield. This guy was in the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. It's a 4-star jazz rock blues. It does have horns on it, but it's got some good hard guitar too. Bugsy. Honorable mention goes to these next two, and that's Sandy Bull. This one is called E Pluribus Unum, and this one is an earlier one. It's called Inventions. Sandy Bull was a kind of a flamenco classical guitarist, and this album was known as the Great Makeout album in the 60s, for late 60s, Kissing With Your Babe. It's just really nice guitar. Is it psych? I'd say it's psych related. It's not really psych, but it's close enough that, yeah, sure. This next one is very, very rare and very, very good. It's a band called Bump. Now, Bump, where the heck did Bump come from? I don't know. Let's see if we can find out anything about it here. Bump. Oh, Bow Street Runners were from Fayetteville, North Carolina. That's interesting. Bump. Bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. It's got to be in here. Terry Brooks and Strange. We haven't even talked about them yet. Because they're in their Strange. I have to wait till you get to the S. I know it's in here. Bump, here we go. Alright, this is a Michigan melodic. You got swirling organ, you got fuzz guitar. A lot of stuff going on here. It's a very rare record now. And very, very excellent. Look into a spider's eyes. Wow stuff. Wow, wow. Okay, only a couple more and we'll be able to finish this. Next is the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. I say, hey, this is blues. What are you doing, Dennis? Well, actually, this one, East West, has got one of the great raga Indian psyche long cuts called East West. 13 minutes of jam and psychedelia. Both these albums are great. Yes, they're blues rock, but there's also some psych on here. How can you escape it? And this one has got wonderful East West on here. This is essential. You got to get this if you can. I think they had other albums too. Okay, almost done here. And we've got Randy Byrds, Evening of the Magicians. So this is on ESP Records. You know you're in trouble if you get an ESP. The Fugs are great. This is a psychedelic record, yes, but it's all acoustic. The thing with ESPs is you can either get them with color covers or black and white. This is fortunately color. The ESP has some great labels on here. So this is major weirdness here. An Evening with the Magician by Randy Byrds. It's psych, but it's folk. You got to know that you're not going to find any fuzz guitar on this thing, unfortunately. Then we have Joe Byrd and the Field Hippies. Now Joe Byrd was in a band before this called USA, which is also an excellent site. This is what I call a freak out album because this whole album on Columbia is intended to give you a bad acid trip. They play with your mind on the lyrics. But it's good. It's just kind of creepy. It's like Van Dyke's Parks, so it's like Americana music. So it's not just rock; it's other stuff too. But this is a definitely great freak out album. One last thing, and I'm done with the bees, and that would of course be the Byrds, folk rock. Now we're starting to get into psych. Look at those cool glasses that Crosby's got in there. Oh man, what are they gonna do here? McGuinn and McGuire, just getting higher. Yeah, the Byrds, wonderful stuff. If you ever heard Fifth Dimension, you know that's psych. How could you be more psych than Fifth Dimension? 8 miles high, and when you come down, you'll find that it's stranger than sound. Well, that's it. That's the end of my bees. One more. I have a bunch of more Byrds albums, but they're less psych. They get into country phrase with Sweetheart of the Rodeo, and then they start to fall apart. There's some good stuff there. Untitled is pretty good, but if you want psych, you got to go Here or Before. Still good stuff. Well, that's it. That's the end of the bees. And next will be the C's, of course.